You know two people. Two people live in the same city, face the same prices, and have the same opportunities. One earns 40,000 a year and somehow never feels trapped. The other earns 80,000 and lives in constant anxiety, one paycheck away from disaster. Most people explain this with luck, upbringing, or vague ideas about money mindset. That explanation feels comforting. It's also wrong. Income is not power. Income is exposure. It reveals who you already are. Money does not repair financial weakness. It magnifies it. Give more money to someone without discipline, and you don't create security, you accelerate collapse. Give modest income to someone disciplined, and you create something far more dangerous, stability that compounds quietly. Year after year, unnoticed by louder failures. People cling to the belief that more money will save them. They chase raises, side hustles, and promotions the way a drowning person thrashes for air. But money doesn't rescue. It obeys. It follows rules. And those who don't understand those rules are punished no matter how much they earn. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Poverty is rarely caused by low income. It is caused by bad rules repeated daily. Money is neutral. It has no morals, no loyalty, no sympathy. It flows toward structure and leaks through chaos. If your habits are chaotic, money escapes you at any level. If your habits are controlled, money accumulates, even when the numbers look unimpressive. This is why two people with identical salaries can live completely different realities. One uses money as a tool. The other uses it as emotional regulation. One allocates. The other reacts. One follows systems. The other follows impulses and then blames the system. Society prefers the comforting lie because the truth demands responsibility. It's easier to say the game is rigged than to admit you're undisciplined. Easier to believe you need more money than to accept you need fewer weaknesses. Wealth is not built by ambition alone. It's built by subtraction. Removing bad habits, removing noise, removing unnecessary desires. Removing the illusion that comfort and freedom can coexist without cost. Minimalism is not deprivation. That's another lie told by people who fear control. Minimalism is precision, the deliberate removal of everything that does not serve clarity, power, and long-term leverage. What remains is not less life, but more control over it. Most people drown not because they lack resources, but because they carry too much useless weight. Subscriptions they don't use, debts they never question, obligations they don't need, desires they never chose consciously. Each one drains attention. Each one leaks money. None of them trigger alarms loudly enough to force action. That's why change feels uncomfortable. These rules attack identity, not just behavior. They expose the gap between how you see yourself and how you actually operate. Most people would rather stay broke than face that gap honestly. This path isn't popular because it works. It works because it's unpopular. It requires restraint in a culture addicted to excess. Silence in a world that profits from noise. Patience in an economy engineered for impulse. What follows are not tips, motivation, or encouragement. They are rules. Cold. Effective rules designed to strip away weakness and replace it with structure. If you're looking for reassurance, stop here. If you want control, continue. The foundational law is simple: money amplifies habits. It does not reform character. Money is not a teacher. It's a mirror. Whatever discipline you lack before money arrives will be exposed brutally after it does. Whatever weakness you hide behind excuses will be dragged into the open. This destroys the favorite fantasy, the belief that higher income will turn you into a better version of yourself. It won't. Money does not create order. Order must exist first. Money simply follows the structure it's given. Without structure, it leaks. With discipline, it compounds. This is why sudden wealth ruins people. It doesn't corrupt them, it reveals them. The spender becomes reckless. The insecure become performative. The undisciplined accelerate self-destruction. Money removes friction, it does not install wisdom. Look closely and you'll see this pattern everywhere. Someone living paycheck to paycheck at 40,000 often does the same at 80,000. The numbers change. The behavior doesn't. Expenses expand to match income because habits remain unchanged. Lifestyle inflation isn't financial, it's psychological. People say, "When I make more, I'll start saving." That sentence reveals ignorance. If you can't control 10% of a small income, you won't control it when the number grows. The percentage you waste stays the same. Only the damage increases. This is the Machiavellian truth: power never reforms the weak. It rewards the prepared. Money follows the same rule. Chaos scales. Discipline scales. There is no middle ground. That's why wealth must be built on rules, not motivation. Motivation is emotional and temporary. Rules are mechanical and permanent. The wealthy don't feel disciplined. They operate inside systems where indiscipline is costly and inconvenient. Their money has assignments. Their time has boundaries. Their habits run on automation, not willpower. The average person does the opposite. Money arrives and immediately competes with desire, insecurity, boredom, and social pressure. And the cycle repeats. There is no hierarchy, no command structure. Everything feels equally urgent, so nothing is truly prioritized. The result is predictable constant motion with no real progress. If you want wealth, you must accept a brutal truth. Freedom comes after control, not before it. Anyone selling the opposite is selling fantasy. Freedom without structure creates slavery to impulse. Structure builds the conditions for freedom later. This is where minimalism becomes a weapon. By reducing choices, you reduce mistakes. By limiting options, you increase precision. The fewer places money can go, the harder it becomes for it to disappear. This is not restriction. It is strategy. The disciplined person doesn't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "Does this serve my system?" If the answer is no, the decision is already made. Emotion is irrelevant. Desire is ignored. The rule stands. Most people treat money like a reward for effort. It isn't. It is a resource allocated by behavior, consistent behavior, repetitive behavior, boring behavior. The kind that never looks impressive, but produces results that cannot be argued with. This is why self-improvement without financial structure fails. You can read every book, absorb every podcast, collect endless insights, and still remain poor if your daily rules are weak. Knowledge does not override habit. Insight does not defeat routine. Only systems do. Before chasing higher income, confront your habits. Strip them down. Examine them without sentimentality. Ask which ones survive pressure and which collapse the moment friction disappears. Because money is coming, maybe slowly, maybe suddenly, and when it arrives, it won't save you. It will expose you. The choice is simple: build rules now or pay for their absence later. Power begins by cutting chains. No one who is chained is free. No one who is indebted is powerful. Modern society disguises this truth with friendly language. Debt is called normal. Payments are labeled manageable. Interest is framed as a small inconvenience. This is intentional. A population that does not recognize chains will wear them willingly. Debt is not just a financial tool. It is a hierarchy. The one who charges interest controls the future labor of the one who pays it. Every payment you make on high interest debt is labor performed for someone else's advantage. You are building their wealth while delaying your own escape. There is productive debt, and there is poison. A low-rate mortgage that locks in shelter can be leverage. A business loan that generates cash flow can be strategy. But credit cards at 20%, payday loans, financing depreciating objects, these are not tools. They are traps. This is not a moral argument. Morality is irrelevant here. This is mathematics and power. Paying 20% interest while hoping to earn 10% through saving or investing is not optimism. It is surrender disguised as hope. The first act of financial authority is ruthless prioritization. High-interest debt must die before anything else lives, before investing, before lifestyle upgrades, before comfort, before pride. Many resist this because eliminating debt is not glamorous. It doesn't signal status. It doesn't photograph well in a culture addicted to appearance. But Machiavellian strategy has never cared about applause. It cares about position. Freedom begins quietly, the moment cash flow stops leaking. The moment your money obeys you instead of your creditors. Until then, every financial plan is theoretical. But debt is only one chain. The other is complexity. People confuse complexity with sophistication. They open multiple accounts, juggle cards, scatter money across platforms, track nothing clearly, then wonder why anxiety follows them. Complexity does not make you advanced. It makes you blind. Power demands clarity. Clarity requires simplicity. A fragmented system cannot be commanded. When money is scattered, attention fades. When attention fades, waste grows. This is how high earners remain perpetually uncertain, busy, reactive, and never fully in control. The disciplined simplify aggressively: one primary checking account, one savings account, one credit card paid in full, automated transfers, automated bills, clear inflow, clear outflow, no mystery, no guessing. This is not minimalism for aesthetics. It is minimalism for dominance. When you can see everything, you can control everything. When you know exactly where money goes, you can decide where it must not go. Chaos feeds impulse. Simplicity feeds authority. Observe how power works everywhere else. Armies don't operate on improvisation. Corporations don't scale on confusion. Empires collapse when systems become bloated and unmanageable. Personal finance obeys the same law. Those who resist simplification often claim they are optimizing. In reality, they are avoiding confrontation with their own behavior. Simplicity forces honesty. It exposes habits you would rather ignore. That is why most people avoid it. But once chains are cut, once debt is neutralized and systems are simplified, something dangerous appears: margin. Breathing room. Space to think. Space to plan, space to say no. With margin comes leverage. Only then can strategy begin. Only then can money be deployed instead of defended. Only then do choices become real instead of theoretical. Do not confuse accumulation with power. High income with heavy obligations is still dependency. True power is optionality. The ability to wait, to choose, to refuse. Optionality cannot exist while you are chained. Cut the chains first. Everything else follows. Control time and money will follow. Money moves toward those who command their time, and away from those who live in reaction. Time is the first asset you ever owned, and the first most people surrender without negotiation. They wake already behind, already distracted, already responding to demands they did not choose. From that moment forward, the day controls them, and anyone who does not control their day will never control their finances. The illusion is that money is scarce. It isn't. Time is. Money can be replaced. Time cannot. Yet people protect dollars more fiercely than hours and wonder why wealth stays distant. The wealthy understand a simple law: whoever controls the schedule controls the hierarchy. Planners operate from command. Reactors operate from submission. Reaction feels busy but produces nothing that compounds. Survival does not scale. Strategy does. This is why mornings matter, not from mysticism, but because they are uncontested territory. The first hour of the day is either claimed deliberately or surrendered to noise. Phones, messages, headlines, notifications. Each one requests your attention. Accept them immediately, and you announce your rank responder, not commander. Powerful people protect mornings for clarity, not productivity theater. They think before the world speaks. They decide before demands arrive. They act before reaction becomes necessary. This is positioning, not motivation. Control the morning, and you reduce entropy for the entire day. A mind that begins in order is harder to destabilize. Decisions sharpen. Impulses weaken. Time stops bleeding. But mornings alone are not enough. Without structure, days fragment. This is where the calendar becomes a weapon. If something is not scheduled, it does not exist. It will be displaced by urgencies, distractions, and other people's priorities. Your calendar reveals your real values, not the ones you claim. What you schedule is what you serve. Those who build wealth schedule thinking, learning, planning, and execution. They don't wait to feel ready. They assign time and show up regardless of mood. This consistency is invisible, which is why it is underestimated. The undisciplined call themselves flexible. In reality, they are available to everyone except themselves. Their attention is auctioned in fragments. By night, they are exhausted, confused, and stagnant. Fatigue is not only physical, it is strategic erosion. A tired mind chooses short-term relief, spends for comfort, avoids planning because planning requires sustained energy. Exhaustion becomes expensive. Minimalism in time management is intentionally brutal: fewer commitments, fewer meetings, fewer distractions. Every no strengthens position. Every protected block of focus quietly builds value. Business is dangerous because it imitates importance while producing nothing. The world rewards outcomes, not motion. Outcomes are born in deep, uninterrupted focus. Those who control their hours gain margin. Margin enables patience. Patience strengthens negotiation. Negotiation improves outcomes. This is how time converts into money, not through hustle, but through leverage. You are not paid for effort. You are paid for value delivered at the right moment. That requires timing, not chaos. Most people never reach this because they fear boundaries, avoid saying no, and sacrifice control to avoid discomfort. Control your time. Guard it ruthlessly. Schedule what matters and eliminate the rest. When you do, money stops feeling elusive. It arrives quietly as consequence, not pursuit. Spending is the battlefield between instinct and discipline. Every purchase is a vote, not for the object, but for the identity you are reinforcing. Spending is not financial first. It is psychological. Money leaves the mind before it leaves the account. The decision is emotional, justified logically, and paid for with future freedom. Instinct wants relief. Discipline wants position. Modern markets are engineered to exploit instinct. 1. Click buying. Artificial scarcity, personalized persuasion. These are not conveniences, they are weapons. They remove friction so impulse outruns thought. The disciplined don't try to become stronger. They redesign the environment. Impulse thrives in immediacy. Discipline thrives in delay. That is why planning defeats instinct so reliably. Time weakens emotion. Desire cools. Logic returns. This is the function of the waiting rule. When the urge appears, it is recorded, not acted upon. Placed on a list, ignored. Time filters noise from necessity. Most cravings do not survive delay. The weak call this deprivation. The strategic call it intelligence. Every unnecessary purchase carries hidden costs: storage, maintenance, mental clutter, attention, time, energy, recovery. Consumption is always more expensive than advertised. Minimalists do not ask whether something is affordable. They ask whether it strengthens their system. Affordability is dangerous. You can afford many things that still make you poorer. Instinct says, "I deserve this." Discipline asks, "What does this cost me long term?" One flatters the ego. The other protects the future. Consider the pattern of the chronically broke. When stress rises, spending rises with it. Purchases become emotional anesthetics, small rewards used to numb dissatisfaction elsewhere. This behavior is predictable, exploitable, and profitable for everyone except the person trapped inside it. Discipline breaks this cycle by eliminating spontaneity. Purchases are planned, researched, deliberate. When money moves, it moves with intent. That single distinction separates accumulators from consumers. Quality matters here. Cheap feels efficient. It isn't. Cheap breaks, decays, and demands replacement. It trains the mind to accept shorter-term thinking. Quality trains patience. It rewards foresight. It reduces repetition. This isn't luxury. It's durability. One strong decision instead of 5 weak ones. One tool that works instead of many that fail. Over time, the advantage compounds quietly. Most people fear discipline because they confuse it with loss. In reality, discipline is delayed victory. It exchanges immediate pleasure for lasting control. Those who cannot tolerate delay will always be governed by those who can. The battle between instinct and discipline is fought daily in moments that appear insignificant. A coffee here, a gadget there, a forgotten subscription. None destroy you alone. Together they form a pattern that does. Win the small battles and the war resolves itself. Spending without discipline is surrender. Spending with intention is strategy. Choose accordingly. Minimalism is not deprivation. It is selection. Most misunderstand it because they view it through loss. Fewer possessions, fewer options, fewer pleasures. To them, it feels like punishment. That misunderstanding serves a purpose. It keeps the undisciplined away. True minimalism is not about having less. It is about choosing better. Weak minds chase abundance. Strong minds pursue precision. Accumulation feels powerful at first. More clothes, more tools, more options, more connections. But accumulation without intent becomes burden. Every object demands attention. Every option creates hesitation. Every commitment steals focus. Crowded systems dissolve authority. Power requires clarity. Clarity requires removal. This is why minimalism attracts those who value control. When choices shrink, decisions accelerate. When distractions disappear, energy concentrates. When excess is cut away, what remains sharpens. Look at the wardrobe. Most people own more clothing than they ever use, yet complain they have nothing to wear. This isn't irony, it's confusion made visible. Too many options create fatigue. Fatigue produces avoidance. Avoidance wastes time and money. The disciplined build functional systems, fewer pieces, neutral colors, durable materials, everything compatible. The result isn't monotony, it's reliability, no hesitation, no clutter, no drain on attention. This principle extends far beyond clothing. Quality over quantity isn't a slogan. It's survival. Cheap solutions demand constant replacement. They erode trust in the object and the decision maker. Durable solutions cost more upfront, but eliminate recurring problems. They save money, time, and mental space. The compounding effect is subtle but relentless. Environment follows the same law. A cluttered home reflects unresolved decisions. Items kept, just in case. Souvenirs without meaning, tools for lives no longer lived. These objects anchor you to the past. They quietly resist progress. Minimalism cuts those anchors. This doesn't require aesthetic purity or monastic emptiness. It requires honesty. Does this serve my current direction? Does it support function, clarity, or growth? If not, it is excess. Excess is not neutral. It charges rent in attention and energy. A simplified environment produces a calm mind. A calm mind makes better financial decisions. This is not philosophy. It is mechanics. Chaos breeds impulse. Order strengthens restraint. Minimalism also applies to commitments. Many people are overextended not from ambition, but from inability to decline. They say yes to avoid discomfort, not to create value. Over time, their calendar fills with obligations that drain without compounding. Selection is power. Every intentional no strengthens the system. Minimalism feels uncomfortable at first because it exposes what you've been tolerating instead of choosing. It removes excuses. It forces clarity. But once practiced, it becomes liberating. Life feels lighter. Decisions accelerate. Money stretches further. Not through restriction, but through elimination of leakage. Those who confuse minimalism with lack will never understand its advantage. Abundance is created through alignment, not accumulation. When everything has purpose, nothing competes unnecessarily. When competition disappears, progress accelerates. Minimalism is not sacrifice. It is strategy. Energy is the asset most people waste. Money is visible. Time is measurable. Energy is neither, which is why it is abused. Energy converts intention into action. Without it, discipline collapses and plans remain theoretical. Most financial failure comes not from ignorance, but exhaustion. A tired mind knows what to do and still does the opposite. Modern life drains reserves while demanding performance. Long hours, constant stimulation, reduced sleep, judgment erodes before productivity does. A depleted brain seeks relief, not strategy. This is why overspending follows fatigue. When energy drops, resistance weakens. Comfort becomes priority. Small indulgences accumulate. None feel dangerous alone. Together they bleed finances slowly. The disciplined avoid burnout not from softness, but calculation. Burnout is expensive. It produces impulsivity, weak planning, and short-term thinking, all incompatible with wealth. Sleep is not optional, it is infrastructure. Trading rest for output produces diminishing returns until collapse follows. Rest must be intentional. Passive stimulation masquerading as leisure, endless scrolling, binge consumption, depletes further. Real recovery is quiet walking, reading, solitude, meaningful conversation, distance from screens. These restore clarity. Clarity restores discipline. Discipline protects money. Energy must also be protected from unnecessary drains. Not every task deserves attention. Not every message requires response. Not every conflict merits engagement. Each interaction carries cost. The strategic evaluate before paying. Information overload is another silent drain. News cycles, constant opinions, endless updates inflame emotion and fracture focus without improving position. Energy debt compounds just like financial debt. Eventually the bill arrives as burnout, illness, or stagnation. The disciplines structure life to prevent this. They limit inputs. They establish routines. They protect silence. Energy is foundational leverage. You cannot out-earn poor energy management. You cannot out-hustle exhaustion. Wealth requires sustained competence, not heroic effort. No force shapes financial trajectory more quietly than the people you keep close. Money moves through networks before it moves through accounts. Habits, norms, expectations transfer socially long before they appear financially. Every relationship applies pressure. Some pull forward. Some hold steady. Some pull backward. Influence rarely announces itself. It appears as jokes about spending, normalized debt, shared distractions, stagnant complaints. Over time, this becomes destiny. Those who drain your energy also drain your money, often indirectly through lowered standards and subtle permission to remain undisciplined. The average calls this loyalty. The strategic call it negligence. A small circle of high-quality relationships outperforms unlimited access. Depth beats breadth. Standards beat popularity. Disciplined people reinforce discipline. Undisciplined environments punish it. Observe who plans, who delays gratification, who invests in skills and systems, and who lives for relief and distraction. Behavioral gravity pull toward the dominant pattern. Without strong internal structure, conformity wins. Environment matters more than motivation. Discipline surrounded by chaos requires constant defense. Discipline surrounded by order compounds effortlessly. The wealthy curate proximity not from arrogance, but strategy. They limit exposure to habits that normalize waste and invest time with people who raise standards rather than soothe weakness. This does not mean abandoning everyone who struggles. It means refusing to let struggle become identity. Support does not require imitation. Sympathy does not require surrender. There is also a financial cost to social choices. Many relationships carry hidden expenses, frequent outings, shared consumption, lifestyle pressure, unspoken expectations. Social spending is often framed as obligation. Over time, these costs compound without return. The disciplined evaluate them honestly. Not every invitation is accepted. Not every expectation is fulfilled. Discomfort is tolerated to protect long-term position. This unsettles some people. They interpret boundaries as rejection. That reaction is information. Those who benefit from your lack of boundaries will resist when you create them. Their resistance confirms the boundary was necessary. Relationships can also function as leverage. The right people compress time. They share knowledge you would otherwise take years to acquire. They open doors without transaction. They normalize excellence. Their presence makes discipline feel natural rather than forced. These relationships are rare. They are built slowly. They require reciprocity, not consumption. But their impact compounds exponentially. Minimalism applies here as well. Fewer relationships chosen deliberately, maintained intentionally. Fewer conversations that lead nowhere. Fewer dynamics that drain energy. More alignment. More clarity. You are not obligated to remain accessible to everyone. Access is privilege. Proximity is power. Choose accordingly. Your financial future will mirror the values of the people closest to you. Whether that reflection elevates or imprisons depends on selection. People are never neutral. They are leverage or they are chains. Systems outperform inspiration. Inspiration is unstable. Systems are not. Most people wait until they feel ready, waiting for motivation, confidence, clarity, the right mood. This feels responsible. It isn't. It is avoidance disguised as patience. While they wait, nothing compounds. Wealth is not built during moments of inspiration. It is built in environments where the correct action is unavoidable. Emotion fluctuates. Discipline cannot depend on it. A system removes choice from moments where choice invites failure. It converts intention into default behavior. This is why systems outperform talent, intelligence, and ambition over time. The disciplined don't decide daily whether they will save, plan, or review. The decision has already been embedded. Money moves automatically. Time blocks are protected, reviews are scheduled. There is no debate, only execution. Contrast this with the average person. Every day becomes a negotiation. I'll start next week. Today was stressful. I deserve a break. These internal arguments never end, and they always favor comfort. Comfort never compounds. A system doesn't care how you feel. It operates regardless. This isn't rigidity, it's efficiency. Automation preserves mental energy for decisions that actually matter. This is how consistency is sustained without burnout. Minimalist systems are intentionally simple. Complexity invites failure. Too many steps, tools, and exceptions cause collapse under their own weight. The goal isn't sophistication, it's reliability. Consider a basic financial system. Income arrives. A portion is immediately allocated to savings or investment. Bills are paid automatically, and what remains becomes discretionary spending. This order is non-negotiable. Impulse never gets a vote. Those who save what's left save nothing. Systems dependent on willpower fail. Systems that remove temptation succeed. The same applies to time, weekly planning, daily structure, scheduled review. These routines aren't exciting. That's why they work. They operate quietly, producing results without drama. Most people underestimate repetition. They seek transformation through bursts of effort. Systems create transformation through accumulation. Small improvements applied consistently outperform heroic effort applied inconsistently. Routine isn't boredom, it's insulation. It shields progress from mood swings, chaos, and resistance. The wealthy understand a hard truth: willpower is finite. Systems are not. Without systems, even the intelligent fail. With systems, even the average outperform. This is why self-help without structure breeds frustration. Insight without execution becomes resentment. Every effective system shares three traits: clarity, automation, and review. Clarity creates understanding. Automation ensures consistency. Review preserves relevance. Without review, systems decay, life shifts. Priorities evolve. What once served becomes excess. The disciplined adapt. The careless drift. That's why periodic review is non-negotiable. Every 6 months, the system is audited: expenses, commitments, habits, relationships. What no longer serves is removed. Focus is restored. Most people never do this. They accumulate until their lives become unmanageable, then blame complexity. The fault is neglect. A system is not a prison. It is a framework for freedom. It absorbs chaos so you don't have to. Inspiration fades. Systems endure. Choose accordingly. This path is not designed for the majority. That is its advantage. Most people will agree intellectually, feel a brief surge of clarity, then return to the same routines, indulgences, and excuses that drain their future. Agreement is easy. Execution is rare. Minimalism, discipline. And systems demand what most refuse: to give present comfort surrendered for future authority. People don't fail from lack of intelligence or opportunity. They fail from resistance to restraint. They want freedom without structure, reward without patience, outcome without sacrifice. The world gladly sells this fantasy and charges interest for it. These principles feel cold because they are. Indifference to comfort is a prerequisite for control. Wealth is unmoved by emotion. Most people prefer the illusion of progress to the discipline of progress. They chase motivation instead of building systems. Validation instead of leverage. Advice instead of removing weakness. And they remain where they are. This path requires subtraction, removing noise, impulse, draining relationships, distracting commitments, weakening habits. Each subtraction creates space. In that space emerges clarity. Clarity is dangerous. It removes excuses. It exposes patterns. It demands accountability. Once seen, ignorance is no longer available. Many unconsciously avoid clarity for this reason. But those willing to endure discomfort gain power over time, money, and self. This is not a lifestyle. It is a posture. It does not announce itself. It compounds quietly while others compete loudly. There is no finish line. No point where discipline ends and indulgence begins. This is an operating system. It must be maintained, reviewed, refined. Drift is always waiting. That's why self-audit matters. Every few months ask what has crept back in. What has become excess? What no longer serves the chosen direction? The answers are rarely comfortable and always useful. Most never ask. They drift year to year, surprised by outcomes their habits clearly predicted. They call it bad luck. It isn't. The future is constructed daily through small, unglamorous decisions repeated consistently. This is mechanical, not mystical. Cause and effect. Structure and result. This path doesn't promise happiness. Happiness is unstable. It promises control. Control creates options. Options create freedom. If you're waiting for permission, none is coming. If you're waiting for confidence, it follows action. If you're waiting for certainty, you'll wait forever. Choose 3 principles from this framework. Implement them without negotiation, imperfectly but consistently. Let them reshape your environment. Then add 3 more. This is how wealth is built, quietly, inevitably. Most will dismiss this path as extreme, unnecessary, or joyless. Let them. Their approval is irrelevant. This path was never meant to be popular.